Hey everybody, welcome to News of the Day, and we got a big story in the News of the Day today, and that's about Shane Gostisbehere, and we're going to get to that, but before we get to that, because the rumors for the Habs maybe trading for him are back, so we're going to talk about it. First up, we're going to talk about a few other things, some small stories. Habs hit the ice yesterday for, I think actually 2 days ago, for the first time. On the ice were Paul Byron, Jonathan Drouin, Charles Hudon, Laurent Dauphin, and Michael McNiven. And I'm not sure how many other players are going to end up joining them, but I would imagine any of the players that have visas and need to come back early, and they'll be joining them, I'm sure, at the practice facility. And that's it. I haven't heard about anybody else being in town, but these 5 guys were in town, and they are on the ice. Paul Byron, I do believe, did a little video for Twitter. I don't know if he documented more than what was on that video. And yeah, he kind of documented a little bit of their return to the ice after all this. Cole Caulfield and Jaden Trouba have been invited to the American team's camp for the World Junior Showcase. This is a tournament for junior age players that haven't obviously no professional contracts yet. And I first noticed it last season. They had that. I remember Caulfield was in there last season. The thing is, I don't understand how they're doing it. They didn't kind of explain anything for the thing I saw. Didn't explain how it's happening. It's supposed to happen July 24th to August 1st. So this is before the NHL would be on the ice for their return to play. They would have camps open at this point, but they wouldn't be on the ice playing games. I don't know how they're going to do it, but hey, they're going to do it. And Caulfield and Struble have been announced, and it could be a really nice showcase for them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It might be the first real hockey we get to see before the NHL gets started. Bob Gainey. Bob Gainey raised $300,000 in the sale of his memorabilia. He raised the money partially, so this was a portion of it was going to Canadiens Children's Foundation, and the rest didn't say. I imagine to Bob Gainey himself. He earns it. It was his career that made that stuff worthwhile, or worth the money. Really good guy, Bob Gainey. I bumped into him a couple times, like literally bumped into him. And great hockey player. Not the greatest general manager, but that's okay. He's a really good person, and his hockey career, kind of, you got to forgive. It's hard to, the Scott Gomez trade, but you got to forgive him for that. So he raised this money, and he's helping charity with it. PM Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau said, I think this was also 2 days ago, that Canada is comfortable with the NHL having a hub city in Canada, provided the league follows local health protocols. So that means that looks like there'll be a hub city in Canada. They're kind of saying if any of the provinces will, I guess, allow them to come in without the quarantining, allow them to have their bubble from the hotel to the camp, and that's it, or to the games, and the Canada's okay with that. And we already know that Vancouver has already come out and said that they're fine with it. They're signing off on that. So it looks like Canada will have a hub city. Bob McKenzie says he doesn't think Toronto is a front runner. I know I have said that. I had read that Toronto is a front runner. Kind of makes sense. Toronto gets everything. Toronto gets everything in Canada. Toronto's the center of attention. So I would figure that it's going to go there, but Bob McKenzie doesn't think that they are getting any special look for this. And I kind of hope it doesn't go there, and it's not because of the Montreal-Toronto rivalry. No, I kind of would like to see it go to Edmonton or Vancouver. Cities who don't get everything all the time. Let them get something. Even though it's a weird time, and I know no fans can go there, but, you know, why not? Toronto gets everything. Pierre LeBrun feels, though, that if Canadian City doesn't get it, Chicago will get the other one, and he also feels that Vegas is definitely a lock. So even though I did read something that said, and it was from one of them, that said the NHL hadn't told any of the 10 cities that are in the running that they're no longer in the running, well, some of them must not be in the running anymore if Vegas is a lock. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out. Let me see. So we'll go to the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres purged their management and scouting. And I reported the last news of the day. I reported that Jason Botterill had gotten fired, but I didn't know at the time how many other people got fired along with him. And I found that out a little bit later. So it turns out it's like 22 people from management and scouting. I believe 14 out of 21 of their scouting staff were let go. The new general manager is Kevin Adams. First-time general manager, he was vice president of something. It's the third time in a row now they're going with a first-time general manager, and I wonder if that was a smart decision. If you had two first-time guys last 3 years each and it didn't work out and you didn't get anywhere, why are you going with another first-time guy? You think you'd bring in a very experienced guy, knows what he's doing, knows who he wants to hire, brings in his people, and runs it that way. So it begs the question, are the owners, the Pagulas, are they kind of wanting to run the team, sort of? And they bring in a guy like Adams, who they can kind of control and tell him what to do. And is that what's happening? Because, look, this is a team that hasn't had a lot of success lately. You got a guy like Eichel really complaining and he wants to start winning and all that kind of stuff. But every time I've seen a team where the owner controls everything like that, it's never gone well. And if you want to say, well, look at Montreal, no, it's not the same in Montreal. Jeff Molson, while he may make the final decision, he relies on Marc Bergevin. He relies on Marc Bergevin to make most of the decisions. And maybe Molson might how much money do you need to play? And he okays it. He doesn't make hockey decisions, I don't believe. And that's the difference. Bergevin has the autonomy to make hockey decisions. So it makes a big difference. If you bring in a GM and the owner's going to say, well, I'm going to tell him what to do, it never goes well. So it's too bad. I hope that's not the case, and we'll see how that goes going down the road. So the big story. Actually, I'm going to take a drink of water. You won't notice. It'll be just like I made a cut, but I'm going to take a drink of water. My voice is going. My voice is going because this is actually the fourth full take. First one, my camera didn't go on. I clicked it, and it said something. It was an error. I did a whole take. The second one, I was almost finished, and I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like it. And I just tossed it out. And the third one, I got messed up in my talking about halfway through. And now I'm doing the fourth one, and my voice is going. So, okay, so we're going to talk about Shane Gostisbehere. So, Shane Gostisbehere's story kind of started, I guess, in 2018-19. Midway through that season, my buddy Pat, he kind of put me on to this, that this would be a good story. Nobody's talking about it. And, yeah, you should check it out. And I did. And I did numerous times I mentioned how Shane Gostisbehere would be a good fit here. Makes sense to make the trade. And blah, blah, blah. And then come trade deadline time, nothing happened. Come the off season, nothing happened. This past season that we're almost done with came, and trade deadline came, and they still didn't do anything about it. But he was hurt, so maybe that had something to do with it. But so now the story resurfaces, and here's the reason why. A reporter, Sam, I can never remember his name. How do you like that? I'm going to find his name. Oh, Carchidi. Sam Carchidi is a reporter out in Philadelphia, covers the Flyers, and he did an article where he had asked readers to send in questions, and one of the questions was this: which Flyer is most likely to be traded when the season ends? His response was, Shane Gostisbehere is the most likely guy, but as I've written, the Flyers will need to get a good return for an offensive-minded defenseman who, despite consecutive subpar seasons, has loads of potential. And remember, this season he was hindered by a knee injury that recently required surgery. As for a trade, a second-round choice or a winger with 20-goal upside might get it done. So, he's saying Gostisbehere is still on the trading block, and it seems like the price for Gostisbehere has gone down, because when I first started talking about it, we were talking about sending Drouin over there from. So, second rounder or a guy with 20-goal upside is not the same as sending Jonathan Drouin and a draft pick, or even more. People were saying even more. So, the price has gone down, which could make him, and I guess it's important because I put it twice, could be either a bargain or a huge bargain. Take your pick depending on how you look at it. I guess I was in both minds when I wrote this. So he could be a really big bargain at that kind of a price, especially if it's just a second-round pick. Even if it's 2 second-round picks, I think that's good. This guy still has a good upside. Speaking of upside, he's only 27 years old, just entering his prime. He's just entering his prime years. He's had a 65-point season. His rookie season was 46 points. This is good. Yes, he's had 39 and 37-point season in between there. And last season he was injured. So if you combine that with all this going on, he played 42 games. He only had 12 points. I would have to assume, and really this is an assumption, that the reason for such a low output had to do with the knee injury. Knee must have been bothering him, and he wasn't as mobile, and he wasn't able to do what he normally does, and he didn't get the points. Because even if you consider the drop-off, when he drops off, he still gets decent points. 12 is now ridiculous, and there's something there, and that's the knee injury. I'm quite sure of it. So now if the Flyers trade him, another thing that they wouldn't have to do is they wouldn't have to lose him to Seattle in the expansion draft, because they have a good set of defensive. They have a good defensive core. They've got Cam York and a guy named Igor Zamira, who I never heard of, but he's one of their top defensive prospects who should be ready to make the jump to the pro ranks next season. So you've got those guys in the pipeline. You've got Ivan Provorov, Travis Sanheim, Robert Hagg, Justin Braun. Okay, Justin Braun's old. They're not going to try to protect him. I get that. Philip Myers. So you got a decent defense corps. You got a good defense corps, actually more than decent. And you're going to lose somebody to. You may lose somebody to that expansion draft. And if you've got a guy like Gostisbehere sitting there, more than likely you're going to lose him to the expansion team, and you're not going to get anything back for him. So it kind of makes sense that if you can get a good deal, you make the trade. So that's one thing in the favor of that. So now he's a left side D, which would solve the problem with Weber, partnering him up with Weber on the first pairing, and you'd end up with a left side of Gostisbehere, Sherratt, and Romanov, and to me that sounds like a pretty good left side. And on the right you got Weber, Petrie, and that's where the next hole is. Not as bad when your hole is on the third line and not on the first one. Makes a huge difference. So here's a big problem. I don't even know if I covered this. How does he play in this upcoming playoffs? We cannot make this trade if Bergevin is all hot to do this. Oh, I want to get Gostisbehere. Can't do anything until the offseason. No trades allowed before the playoffs are played because the trading deadline's already passed. And if he has the lights-out playoffs, it makes a huge difference. First of all, Philadelphia might say, well, maybe we keep this guy. And they also might say, well, we now want a lot more for him than we did previous to this. So it goes back to that huge price that was the year before. So we don't want to see that if possible. But nothing we can do. And in a way, it's a good thing if we are going to end up with him. It'd be nice to see that he still has what it takes by having a good playoffs. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Could work for you, could work against you. So he's a really good fit here. I think he'd be a really good fit here. I don't think anything's changed. You could say the 2 subpar seasons make you a little bit worried about it, but not me, because he's had that drop-off before. 46 as a rookie, 39 the next year, so he's had a little bit of a drop-off there and came back with 65. He dropped off to 37. He might be one of those guys that goes up and down a bit. You know, he has a good year off year, a good year off year. His off year at 40 points or whatever, that's not so bad. It's not so bad. So this is, you have to take this by itself because of the knee injury. But he look at it, 46, 39, 65, 37. It's kind of a pattern that's setting out there. So I think he's worth it. I think he's worth the money that's the asking price that's out there now. I'm just wondering what you guys think. You guys still think Shane Gostisbehere is worth getting? And let me know in the comment section below, because I think I'm done. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And it's a hot day in Montreal. It's affecting me. Sorry. Give a thumbs up. While you're on the way down there, twofold now. I don't usually put this here, but you see the join button? That's for memberships. I've got memberships, and if you're interested in being a member, click on that button. It's going to give you a list of the options. First one starts at $1.99. When you're a member, you get exclusive members-only videos, members-only live streams, and each level has its own different thing that you get. So you can check that out down there. Give a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section about anything here, any of my ideas. Oops, I thought I knocked something over. Anything at all in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and ring that notifications bell. That's going to get you your daily fix of Blue, Blonde, Rouge right here at Talkin' Habs. And that's it. That's all. So thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, demonstrators or wherever. If you're out there doing that, great. Just stay safe. And wear a mask when you're in public and you're going and there's people around. Wear a mask. It's the safest thing to do. Because I want you back here watching more Talkin' Habs videos. Exactly. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. And peace out. You can tell the heat's getting to me. You can tell. See you next video, everybody.